Arnaut, thanks for speaking to me. How's everything here at Everton, newly joined club for you?
Thanks for having me. It's been great so far. I'm saying it with big smiles. I'm very happy to be here. Grateful for the opportunity given. As you know, I think we've just won 2 games, so
Yes.
hoping to build some momentum and making sure that we build some consistency. And yeah, it's been great so far, and hoping for better.
How does that change the mood in the club? When you come into the training ground on a daily basis, here we are at Finch Farm, does it feel completely different between you and all the staff and all the players?
Of course it does. I think many people often wonder what it feels like, but as a footballer, you're really competitive, isn't it? So your life is basically built around winning or losing. Once you lose, everything is bad. Going home is bad. Going in your car, the car is bad. Going anywhere, everything is bad. And once you win, everything is good again. So I think it's a good nature and a good environment to be in, because you shouldn't get used to losing. And if you get used to losing and you lose and you don't feel a certain type of way, I don't think it's good. I think you should keep the competitiveness, keep the sharpness, and make sure that you want to create that winning feel, you want to create the winning experience, and I think that's what keeps us going.
Are you a bad loser in that case when you go home? Are you grumpy? Or are you okay? Because you're such a nice guy to be. Really, you're generally such a nice
think
guy.
so?
Yeah.
Off the pitch, let's say that.
Okay.
No, I would, you know what, I wouldn't call myself a bad loser, but I just hate losing, man.
Yes. Every athlete's like that, though.
I think so, yeah. I think it comes in categories, but I think I'm the worst, yeah. I think I can't stand losing. If I lose a game, or it's not even a game, if you lose a training, or for me, even if you don't perform good yourself in training on an individual perspective, just the pride and making sure that you come out on the pitch and make sure that you prove to yourself that you're capable of doing something, that you're capable of having certain qualities. For me, it ruins my entire day.
I can imagine, yeah, and evening.
Yeah, so you can imagine what the family is as well. Huh? You come home, everyone's say, "Oh, how does he look? Is the training good? Yes or no?" If the training is good, everyone's happy. If the training is bad,
Everybody knows.
everyone's grumpy. Yeah,
Everybody.
yeah.
Okay, I can't imagine that myself, because like, generally you seem like such a great guy. Talking a bit about the football, because you've played in Spain and here, what's the big difference between the two nations, the two competitions?
I think the physicality part of the game. I think in the Premier League, the physical aspect of the game is obviously it's top level. And I think in Spain, I think the technical ability is top level. I think those are the 2 major differences. I think in Spain, you can't get away with not being technically able to be the best and be amongst the best. And I think in England, you can't get away with being not fit and having a physical attribute that exceeds other players, and whether it's in terms of speed, in strength. You need to be physically on top of your level in England, and I think in Spain you can kind of get away with it, and I think in England you can kind of get away with being not as technical. So I think you need both to be able to compete in both.
Do you have time to think in England compared to Spain? Because it seems a lot slower there. This is just me observing on TV.
No, you could be a coach. I think that's very true. I think in Spain, the tactical aspect of the game is completely different. I had my spell at Villarreal with Emery, and I've said it in Spain. I'll say it again. He's a tactical mastermind, and in Spain, the tactical aspect of the game is unbelievable. The strategy, formations, the way players play, it's on a different level than anywhere else in the world, I believe. So you get more time to think in Spain, but that doesn't mean that it necessarily gets easier. Whereas in England, you definitely get less time to think. But again, it doesn't mean that it gets harder. But you're right. You're definitely right. You get less time in England. Doesn't mean it gets harder, but you definitely get less time. And in certain situations, you need to make sure that you adapt to it.
Well, when you break it down even further, there's differences between countries, there's differences between clubs in countries.
As well.
What about the style of football at Everton for you? How would you summarise it?
I think that's completely different as well. I think at the minute, we've got a very direct way of playing. Whether we would like to play like that, I think maybe is debatable, but I think you need to be realistic. You need to look into the situation you're in. We've been struggling to get a win at the beginning. I think Everton had a difficult past 2 seasons. So maybe having a bit more direct play will just give a bit more belief. And if inevitably, once you start playing and once you start playing a bit more direct, the quality of the plays will show on the back of it anyways. So I think we've chosen consciously of a bit more direct way of playing, and I think it's starting to work now. And on the back of that, hopefully, I think we can build a character and make sure that we play more the way that suits the players in terms of the quality that we have on the midfield, for example, or the strikers or the defender, or whoever it is on the pitch. But I think at the minute, the direct play that we do is very important for us to make sure that we keep our sharpness, pull certain wins over the edge, and make sure that we build momentum and belief on the back of it.
Yeah. What about the role of the manager? Because I've interviewed a lot of managers, probably more than you played for. In fact, I'm pretty certain. And I've seen many different characters, and I've worked with quite a few, like Philip Koku, PSV. The connection is there. I had him out in Malaysia with me.
Yeah, of course.
What about Sean Dyche? Because I've spoken to him, and I love that man. I think he's just someone you could talk to about anything. I know as a player, relationship would be different, but how big a role did he have to bring you to this club? Because I would run through a brick wall for that man. I'm not even a player. I'm not even being paid by him.
Yeah, he is a manager. He's pretty straightforward. As long as you run and as long as you work hard, I think he will give you the respect. Yeah, what can I say about Sean Dyche?
He's direct.
Yeah, it's very direct, very straightforward in the way that he speaks and the way that he approaches you. And as a player, it's up to you to be able to deal with it and cope with it.
He's honest. And I've realised sometimes people aren't, but I think that's something you value as a player.
I think as a player, I think it's very important to your managers, not just for me, but I think in general. You've got many players who've got so much ability, but they will never make it just because of a manager maybe doesn't suit the way that they play, or maybe doesn't put them in their strengths. And then you've got many players who maybe don't have that much quality, but are able to perform in the best way possible because the manager understands them and the manager makes sure to bring out the best of both sides. So a manager can literally break or make players their careers, hence why it's so important for players to choose the right manager to perform under.
Yeah, and I said you're a very nice guy, but I think it also extends to how you on the football pitch, in the sense that you're willing to do anything for the team. Because we've seen you play several positions. But what is your favourite position? When you talk about yourself, what do you describe yourself as?
I describe myself as a left winger.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've played in so many positions, and I've had good spells on the different positions as well. I played at Villarreal, we played 4-4-2, and I played as one of the two strikers. When I played at Bournemouth, I had a very good season. I played as a left wing in a 4-3-3. I've played for Everton now a couple of times on the right side, which, to be honest with you, I've barely ever played in my career. But again, always trying to embrace new challenges and make sure that I'm there where the team needs me. I think as a player in modern day football, you need to be able to play in multiple positions anyways. I think the game's becoming a lot more quicker, a lot more intelligent. And I think as a player, if you're able to adapt to the game and being able to play in multiple positions, it will definitely help you on the pitch.
I think that speaks to your attributes and your skills as a footballer. I only have about a minute and a half left, so let me ask you two questions. I've always wanted to know, what's it like to score a goal in the Premier League? What does it feel inside you? We have to describe it. I know you scored in Spain, you scored in the Champions League, you scored international football, but in the Premier League, what does it feel like?
We'll have to go to the next question because I can't answer that.
You can't answer that?
It's impossible. I think scoring for me is obviously what you live for. It's what you wake up for. Every day you go to work, going to training, you work hard just to make sure that you hit the net.
Bring out the Cobra?
Yeah, bring out the Cobra. That will be undescribable. You can't. I wouldn't have it in me. I wouldn't have it in my vocabulary to describe it to you what it feels like. It's just once it happens, you just want it again. It's like a drug. It's just
hashtag living the dream.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all it is.
The final question is: there's a very intense and loyal fan base for Everton out in Malaysia. Do you have a message for the fans?
Yeah, of course I have. To all the fans out there, Everton, for all the Everton fans in Malaysia, what can I say? I think I sympathise with them. I sympathise with all the Everton fans, to be honest with you. I think they've had a tough 2 seasons. Being Everton fan, it must be really tough the past 2 seasons, but I think it builds togetherness, it builds strength. We've all been through it together. There are better times coming, I'm sure of it, I'm confident in it, and as long as we stick together, I think with the fan base that Everton has, they're so loyal, they're so harsh in the way that they love the club. The fans for Everton, they're always different. They really love the club. They're really intense. They've got a very intense way of supporting the club, and we can feel it as a player. So all the support never goes unnoticed, and we will do everything we can to make sure that we can replicate the feeling and make sure that we create some history together.
Well, you and your personal life, your story, you are proof that hardship can forge success in hard work. And hopefully one day we'll see you out in Malaysia, sir.
I hope so. Looking forward to it.
Definitely. All the best.
Thank you so much.